Sound check. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to switch my phone into airplane mode so it won't make GSM noises. Jeff Groves, I think, told me that. So thanks to Jeff. I think of Jeff every time I do that. Hello, everybody. Hello to Paul and Ruth. Ruth, I hope there's some positive cat news. Bill J. Mike G, hello. Hope all is well in Minnesota. Hopefully the spring is sprunging. And hello, Lisa and Brian Sweeney. Great to have you here, Brian, as always. All right. And then Saban, it is in fact, I can confirm, it is a lovely day. And then, let's see. All right. Well, I was poking around. Looking at the different zines that I've managed to spontaneously buy and other things. And then I stumbled onto this again, which I think is the permission slip to do nothing, which is from a YouTuber named Struthless. And so I was looking at various folded paper things, and I think we've done this in the past, or the permission, whatever you'd want to do, like permission to like quit using computers, or permission to say no to AI, or he didn't have these in here, but these are just ones I'm adding up. But the graphics, if you get a chance, Campbell Walker is he's an author. Campbell Walker is his name, but he goes by Struthless. He has a delightful book called Your Head is a Houseboat, which I think is fantastic. And then he's about to get a new book that comes out soon called Doom and Bloom. It's about structured writing exercises to cope with change and doom scrolling and all these other sort of things, which I think is pretty cool and fantastic. And I think I have a hard copy of it pre-ordered that'll be arriving at some point soon, but hopefully. But yeah, so we're gonna lean into do nothing. There's a candle. There you go. There I guess Jeff is an influence on me. I've got candles now too. But yeah, so we've been playing around a little bit with this, which is this lovely thing, In a Moment, in a Breath, which we were reviewing and exploring from Roshi Joan Halifax. You can see the different 5 elements here. Very Fifth Element in the way. By the way, I just realized that I think Fifth Element is actually about AI, but I don't have time to explain that, nor is that the topic for here. So that was my inspiration. I just happened to stumble onto this while I was poking around at stuff. I was looking at my zine that I got from Auntie Faith, Dr. Faith G. Harper, and then I was like, oh yeah, we should totally give ourselves permission to do nothing. So what does that mean? That means we're going to do a 25-minute sit, mostly light guidance. I'll offer a few prompts and cues in there, and but it'll mainly be doing nothing. I didn't tell anybody who I am, but hopefully the 13 people that are dialed in at the moment will know who I am. So yes, it looks like Andrew. It is. I am a certified mindfulness meditation coach in the Unified Mindfulness System by trade and training. I'm a computer science major, software engineer, I guess is the right term. And we will do 25-minute sit together. Normally, we would do 25-minute sit with minimal guidance and 5 minutes, just 5, of do nothing at the end. But as I mentioned, we've been exploring some of the small exercises, and today we're going to play with doing nothing. Hello, Esquin. Welcome. It's so funny. I occasionally get comments where people are always like, you say hi to everybody, but I want to say hi to everybody. It's like, well, maybe Mike G can back me up on this. And I didn't say hi to Gabrielle. Sorry about that. There's a Minnesota thing in me that I want to wave to. I want to wave to everybody that drives past our house when I'm outside, and I want to say hi to people. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. So, so there you go. Thank you for the likes. We got 6 likes already. I have a striker and a bell. So yes, Ruth, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. That's the best compliment I could hope for. I think I've told people this on this channel before, that when I first started traveling internationally, and people would say I was Canadian, I just didn't correct them. It's like, mission accomplished. So, all right. Oh, I did miss you, Taryn. I'm so sorry, Taryn B. I missed you, and then did I miss anybody? I missed Gabrielle. I'm sorry about that, and then I missed Taryn. I'm sorry. God, I know we talked about how to pronounce your name, Taryn, and I think I was screwing it up, but I think was Celtic, maybe, and hopefully I'm right. All right, I think I've said hi to everybody. So there we go. Yes, we offer refuge. I'm glad you're offering refuge. All right, so I have 25 minutes on the clock. Actually, I'm not as discombobulated as I was last week. Last week was just like crazy pants. I was just totally out of it. All right, 25 minutes on the clock. Last week was like I was like in a solving problems fog, and then I came out of it. It's totally do not recommend. So, all right. Well, that didn't work. Okay. So I'm going to invite the bell. We're going to start to sit. I'll offer the standard sort of lead in. We may do a little more breathing than usual, but so just to give you a pre-warning about that, if you don't like doing deep inhales. All right. Okay, that was a good bell. Not that we should be rating bells as good and bad, but I like that one. All right, so you could use the frame that you started meditating the moment that you logged in, or the moment that you decided that you were going to make time for yourself, and that would be super amazing. And that could be true, and now is the moment where arriving becomes a reality. So we start with establishing a posture that will be supportive to help us be relaxed and alert. Really, the guiding hope here is an upright posture that will help us be available, and that posture isn't too uptight. So upright without being uptight, allowing a natural curvature in the spine, really allowing the body to be supported, either seated in a chair, on a cushion, or on a bench. If you're lying down or walking, that's totally fine too. Equally spiritual, as Susan Piver likes to say. And really just kind of getting a chance to settle in. As we settle in, it's good to acknowledge what's already here. Not pushing it away, it's just kind of a head nod, if you will, to what the inner weather is like. So if you're scattered, just noticing they're scattered here, scatteredness. If the mind is busy, the mind is busy. So ultimately trying to see if we can avoid turning it into a problem. And if we can't, just acknowledging problems are here. And then, as advertised, a few deliberate breaths. Slow and low is the tempo that we're going for. Breathing in through the nose allows us to breathe slow, and that slowness gets us low into the belly. And as the inhale turns around and becomes the exhale, seeing if we can extend and accentuate it. You'll occasionally hear guided meditations where they say, this might be the first deep breath that you've done in the day. And in fact, this is the first deep breath I've done today. Yeah, feels good. And a few more. Just seeing if we can get a little bit of a settling in. And then allowing the breath to be natural, uncontrolled, unhurried. So some of the sounds in my environment may be bleeding into your environment. The wabi-sabi clock, the fans on the laptop to my side here that sound like it, in fact, is a hovercraft and not a laptop. So really we're just allowing our attention to wander as it sees fit. That's one framing of it. And the other is we can think about it as the mind is in autofocus mode. And when happening draws our concentration, we naturally focus on it, allow our attention to go where it wants. And then when something else arises, we allow it to move. There's a both and, so we can do nothing and autofocus can be available. And then the last reminder is just that if you kind of allow the mind to do whatever it wants, sometimes it'll do things that aren't what you intended or what you thought would happen. So you may find yourself counting your breaths or suddenly working with your home base, things that the mind normally likes to do. Maybe making grocery lists, planning. Just seeing if we can simply receive all of those things. It's like a toddler is bringing you gifts and you're sitting on the couch. You take every single one. I'll let you explore on your own and offer some suggestions in a bit. So the hardest part for me when I'm just sitting is kind of determining when to reset. So we always talk about when our attention is drawn away, we can notice that and we begin again. But if we're doing nothing or we're auto focusing, feels like we're kind of unmoored in that. Or in other words, there's no boundary, like to say like we're in or we're out of that boundary. So sometimes we can just sort of notice if we're adding to whatever's going on. So something's bubbling up and we're just allowing it to be, that's totally great. But if we're adding on to it and another thing and another thing and another thing, as we are experiencing that, we can always just observe that as part of the piece of just allowing ourselves. That's a little bit of equanimity. Or we can kind of decide that that's a time for us to stretch up and settle back in. So adjust the posture to a few deep breaths and then start back over. And doing that with the least amount of judgment on yourself as possible. You've already succeeded by just sitting down and being here. Can't do this wrong. Do nothing. If you want to do another thing and another thing the whole time, that's totally possible. Not a big deal. And you can use that as a cue to reset. I find when my mind is the most chatty, I'm usually leaning forward or I'm kind of contracting and I don't even realize it. So that's a bunch of words. Hopefully I did not disturb your sit with those words. We can get back to just doing nothing. All right, so you're welcome to keep doing nothing, but I'm feeling spontaneous desire to offer some gratitude, and so I'm just borrowing from Jeff, sort of thank you just because. And I mentioned Campbell Walker at the beginning, so thank you just because. And Dr. Faith G. Harper, thank you just because. So some people that have been helpful to me, and then some folks that have been helpful and I don't even know them. Miguel helped me with a tech support problem. Megan helped me schedule an appointment with my dentist. Just seeing if anyone comes to mind, someone who made your day a little bit easier. Thank you, just because. Maybe your mail arrived on time. Thank your letter carrier. Maybe your medication just got refilled. Can thank the pharmacy tech. Maybe your trash was picked up. Thank the driver of the trash truck. Maybe your recycle was just picked up. Thank the driver of the recycle truck. You get the idea. Thank you, just because. Even better if your mail was late, being able to still offer some gratitude that it arrived. And if you start running out of folks, maybe thanking your favorite neighborhood dog that barks at you every day, or your favorite neighborhood cat who wanders into your backyard occasionally. And the birds that visit. And the insects that offer you an opportunity to escort them outside. Thank you. Thank you for no reason. Thank you just because. And in advance, I want to thank Brooke and Ralph, not just because but they'll be filling in for me in the coming weeks. So thank you. And thank you to you for being here today, taking time out of your schedule, either to be here live or watch the recording in the future. Thank you. Thank you for that, more than just because. And thank yourself, I should say, just because you made time for yourself, you made it here, wherever here is. Our time is ended. I'll ring the bell to signify that. May our practice benefit each being in all realms. I can't remember the last part. Here, we'll look it up really quick. This will bother me if I don't. May this practice nourish each thing in all realms and truly benefit all beings. There we go. I remembered part of it. But we truly want it to benefit all beings. All right. So thank you. Thank you for no reason. I also, like, if you think about it, I probably my own thing doesn't really make sense. I was thanking people for reasons. So, but just because. You're all welcome. There's a teacher in Spirit Rock, and I think he does stuff with the Barry Buddhist Study Center. I think it's called something like that. It's the more like serious Buddhist academic group that's part of. Oh, hey, welcome, Sarah. It's part of the Insight Meditation. It's part of the Insight Meditation Society. Sorry, IMS. Brian Lesage, and he had a mentor teacher. Oh, welcome, Edward. Edward, you've been here before though, so we super appreciate you being here too. It's been a while, yeah. So Brian Lesage, he teaches here in Arizona every so often, in southern Arizona where I live, and then also in northern Arizona. He had a teacher, mentor named Eric Kolvig, and he said that that when they would go to like hardware stores and stuff, that Eric would profusely thank whoever had helped them find something in the hardware store, or done anything to help them out. And he said that like being out in public with him was just sort of this sort of like fast moving gratitude sort of experience. And so I think about that often. I didn't manage to go to any of Eric Kolvig's teaching offerings here in town, even though I knew at the time I knew of them, but I didn't know him as a teacher. And then I ended up finding videos of him later on, and it's one of those things where you realize I should have I should have gone to his teaching stuff. So if you're curious about Brian, you can find Brian, who I think is just a fantastic Dharma teacher. You can find him on, I think it's Dharma. I think Dharma Seed is where all of the Spirit Rock talks are, so you can find it through there. Where am I going? So I am going to. My girlfriend and I are going. We're flying. We're headed out soonish, and we're going through Dubai. Well, we're going to London, then Dubai, and then from Dubai we're going to 4 of the stands, which you would consider to be sort of all along the Silk Road: Kazakhstan, Kurdistan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. So we're traveling with a group of people. A chunk of the people, or a grouping of a subgroup of the people, that's a more appropriate term, subgroup of people, are from our Antarctica trip. And then there are some other folks that are from a trip that we did to Bhutan, so the Kingdom of Happiness, years ago, which actually, that's a postcard from Bhutan right there. And actually that is the 8 auspicious signs, although you can only see 5 of them. 8 auspicious signs are something you'll see in a lot of Mahayana and Vajrayana Buddhism. So anyway, there's your history lesson for today. Not everything's Star Wars references. And so, yes, Ruth. So no, actually not. But it should be a very cool trip, and it'll be a delight because we'll get to travel with a bunch of folks we really love traveling with. And I think I'm the only guy on the trip, which is interesting. And so that respite or refuge offered earlier may have to take people up on that. So, all right, well, I didn't talk beyond the top of the hour, so thank you so much for being here. Thank you to those that are viewing this in the future or on a Thursday. Happy Thursday in Australia. And so next Wednesday, it'll be Ralph, and then in between, so I'll be away for 4. I won't be out of the country yet when Ralph is filling in. That's another thing. Slightly different reason for me to, an okay reason, but not, I have another conflict. Yes, the slideshow for Antarctica. Thank you for reminding me, Paul. I am super tardy on that one. Yes. Anyway, so it's Brooke on the Ralph is on the 30th, and I will unleash the live streams with thumbnails here very, very soon. So you'll know who is when. But Ralph will be on the 30th, Brooke will be on the 7th and the 14th, and then Ralph again will be on the 21st of May. And then I'll be back. So, yeah. And Ralph and Brooke are like fantastic. So, yeah, and then I volunteer tomorrow, so I can't go. But if you haven't already, go to brookemeditates.com and you'll find information about how to sign up for Begin Again, which is her Thursday meditation offering. Is available tomorrow. That offering runs until June, so check that out as well. And then I'll be Fred and I will be in your chat window on Sunday. And yeah, I think that's everything. Tomorrow, just a reminder, tomorrow at noon Eastern is the community home base hangout for the folks that are home base subscribers. So just a reminder. So you have that as a reminder. I think that's everything. At some point, I'm going to remember to write this stuff down so I have it. But that's a lot of remembering. But yeah, I often forget the hangout and then I don't make it, and now I have a conflict with the hangout. So at that time frame, so I can't make it. But yeah, so you're super, super welcome. Yeah, and feel free to use the permission slip to do nothing. So there you go. All right. Oh yes, see, I seem to miss it too, and then because it's in the middle of the day, at least middle of the day for me, I guess. I don't know if it's not in the middle of the day for somebody else. And I think it's positioned that way on purpose so that folks that are in the UK and EU have a chance to join, because the Do Nothing Project doesn't really work that well for them. Although Johnny will attend from Norway every so often, which is like the middle of the night. I always love when Johnny comes, so which is a super super delight. But yeah, that's some dedication. Yes, Jeff is international. So yeah. All right. I just had a little attentional blink out there. See everybody on Sunday. Thank you again. Bye.